Now, one of the biggest pain points of Season 4 of the finals is the Model 1887. And a big question everyone keeps asking after the most recent nerfs is the weapon still overpowered, or is it finally balanced? Well, I'm here to break down the changes to the weapon, along with explaining what my opinion is on the changes. So let's get straight into the stats and what actually changed. The pellet count changed from 8 to 9, adding a single pellet to the center of the spread. The damage per pellet dropped from 16 to 13, meaning we get a total of 117 damage, which is down from a 128. The outer square of pellets was tightened to compensate for this damage reduction. The important changes here in terms of affecting kill breakpoints is that you are no longer able to two-shot a medium, but you can still two-shot lights and three-shot heavies. So after testing this for a while, these are my feelings on how the model plays now. When facing lights, the current model actually feels stronger. The tighter pellet spread along with the extra pellet in the center means being able to hit lights feels much easier, often resulting in higher average damages, especially within a specific range outside of right inside of their face, making it much easier to get two shots on them up close. I'm also still able to get the one-shot melee kill combo, so overall this actually feels like a buff when facing lights. When facing mediums, the only fights I really feel this change is when facing another model player. I can't two-shot them anymore, however, I can throw a quick melee between shots and still kill just as fast, which was typically how the weapon was played anyways. But when facing a ranged medium, it's a bit of a mixed bag. The further out you go, the better this new model feels. Three-shotting is relatively easy within a certain distance, and landing the two shots with a melee in between is a bit harder to do, as ranged medium players typically won't get in your face as often, but when they do, they fall pretty fast still. So when facing an AR or revolver, or a standard ranged medium, I don't really notice the change too much. Overall, the weapon feels more consistent with the extra pellet and tighter spread, so at specific ranges, it feels stronger, even though technically it might not be stronger. This could be more of a placebo, but only at that close range when you are just out of melee distance do you really feel this weapon actually feel weaker. Now when facing heavies, I genuinely don't notice a difference. Heavies always want to be in your face anyways, so landing melees between each shot is a normal occurrence. You can still play outside of their SA-12 effective range with model, and with the tighter spread and extra pellet, this feels a bit easier to pull off now, as typically you need the extra fourth shot at this range anyways. So in conclusion, I think this is not a very effective nerf. I think the casuals will definitely notice this change, and they're more than likely going to use it a lot less often. The main reason is because they rarely weave melees between each shot, but for the top players, the model should still be the most effective medium weapon to use. I still think this was a step in the right direction. I'm happy to see that they are looking into the Model 1887 and adjusting based on community feedback. I'm hoping with Season 5 we see some more adjustments to the weapons, but it just would be nice to see a little bit more variety across the board, especially for ranked, as we've been in a shotgun meta for quite a long time now. The model, the SA-12, and even the M26 on light are very common picks currently. I'd love to see mediums using ARs more, heavies to be able to use options outside of Sledgehammer and SA-12. Luckily, we do see a few KS-23 users in high elo, but LMGs are very rare. The light class, at the moment the LH1 feels like the strongest pick in higher elo, but the M26 does see some play here and there, and the SMGs just kind of rarely see play in competitive. Obviously, the developers need to balance the game to appease everyone and not only cater to higher elo players, but as a top rank grinder, it can get dull facing shotguns every game, so obviously this feedback is much more personal. I also feel like this weapon was relatively balanced in casual lobbies, but it was only really an issue for competitive players. It feels like this change didn't change the competitive scene and only really hindered the casuals, which might not be the right approach here. Anyways, short video, but hoping to share my feedback on the subject after some extensive testing and even asking a lot of the top players who use the model themselves and getting their feedback. It seems most agree the change did not nerf it enough to help the meta. Subscribe so you don't miss out on all the upcoming Season 5 content coming soon. Thank you to all my members. Comment below what your thoughts are on the model changes. And remember, shoot melee shoot. And I will see you in the finals.
Being unlocked by the steamrollers.
You don't see that very often, bro, I tell you.